So, back to feeding some more venomous snakes. This is the Malayan pit viper right there. Just wait till he wakes up. He's gonna make short process of that mouse. Ooh. There we go. That was some good bite placement from him right there, I think. Bit it right in the neck, but he let go this time. Oh, there we go. See the venom kick in. Usually he likes to hold on to the mice. But this is gonna work out, of course, as well. Look at him. Again, this is the Malayan pit viper, Calloselasma rhodostoma. And these are found all throughout Southeast Asia. However, he is from a Borneo locality, to be exact. And they are sometimes called the Malayan moccasin as well. And as you probably know from all my other videos, I love all the moccasins. I love the copperheads and cottonmouths in particular, and these are pretty much like the Asian counterparts, even though they aren't too closely related. They are in a monotypic genus actually, but they do seem to be more venomous than, for example, a normal copperhead. There are several fatalities known caused by this species, I think. And from what I've been told, most people who happen to pass away after getting bitten by one died from either bleeding in the brain or from a septic shock. So I do try to be careful around him, of course, as well, as he has very impressive strike range and is also very precise, just like a lancehead viper. There we go. Look, I think he has a bit of substrate in his mouth, but he's gonna get it out, I think. So, next up is my albino prairie rattlesnake. You probably know her from plenty of my other videos already. Boom, there we go. I think that was already the bite. Let's see. I had to remove the hide box from her. Usually I do that right away when I'm feeding. But I just recently moved her into this larger bin, as she outgrown her previous one for quite a while now, but usually they don't mind staying in their setup they are used to. And I think that mouse is feeling the venom already. See, that bite, even though it didn't look like much, already was sufficient, of course, in envenomating the prey item. See? Yeah, look, that mouse is just kind of stuck right there. See? Oh, there you go. Yeah, I think she bit it in the back. I wonder if the bite placement has to do with the venom taking effect a bit later, but as you can see, it's still gonna take out that mouse with no problem. There we go. And she is a little bit chunky looking, but I think I'm gonna take her off food for 3 to 4 weeks anyway. But she is still a very pretty snake, I think. I like all the albino versions of the vipers, but with the prairie rattlesnakes, there are actually two kinds of albinos, at least that I know of. I have seen these, normal albinos like her, which have quite some variation as well, I feel like. But there also is a caramel albino, which isn't as bright as this one, and also they don't have the red eyes, but normal looking eyes instead. There we go. Look, that mouse is about to be done now. I just put her hide box back in, so I think we can leave her alone now and let her enjoy her meal in peace. And let's move on to next. And Mr. Russell's Viper is back in action as well, as you can see. Ooh, there we go. And he held on to the mouse this time. Look, with a perfect bite placement like that, it's gonna kill the rodent in a few seconds, see? And it's actually dead already, I think. There we go, very impressive strike from him. Again, that mouse was killed in just a few seconds. You know, with that precise bite placement, he delivered the venom right away into the head and neck of the prey item, see? But now that he is so focused on his meal and still holding onto it, it gives me the chance to show you how beautiful he is from up close, see? There we go. Obviously, the Russels vipers are known for their very beautiful pattern, but there is quite a lot of variation actually. Within this species, they all look kind of unique with the exact color and pattern they got going on. Some have spots and some have stripes and some have both actually. So again, I hope you enjoyed the strike from Mr. Russell's Viper. I'm gonna do a new voiceover now as I have some nice footage of him swallowing that mouse now. As you can see, that's gonna be a nice big meal for him. He has still plenty of growing to do. He is actually gonna at least triple in size probably until he is adult. He was born just 2 years back in 2023. But as you can see, a very beautiful snake, but also very dangerous, of course. Some sources do consider the Russell's vipers to be the most dangerous snake all throughout Southeast Asia, actually. So this is also due to them occurring oftentimes close to human infrastructure, not only due to their high venom potency, of course, which they do have as well. But they are not aggressive snakes at all. If you look at the top of his snout, in this close-up shot you can nicely see it. They have these very enlarged nostrils. And when he feels threatened, what he's gonna do is he's gonna force air through that nasal passage to create a loud hissing noise. And it's just gonna act like a warning system, similar to the rattling of a rattlesnake to let you know that they are dangerous. So Mr. Puff Adder is always hungry, so I think you can expect a nice strike from him as well. Oh, now he's looking at me though. Come on, bite the mouse. I had to hold it in front of him right there, but of course he bit it. Very nice, one of the most fastest striking snakes according to some studies. But as I explained in many other videos already, it is of course kind of difficult to determine what exact snake species does strike the fastest. Like some say it is a death adder, some say it's the gaboon viper, and some say it's a puff adder as well, which is of course closely related to the Bitis, rhinoceros, and gabonica, which is the gaboon viper. There we go, but of course you don't want to mess with any of them. They can strike much faster than a human would be able to react, for example. And he does have a bit of a crazy attitude too. Every time I have to reach in there with my tongs to clean out something or to get out the water dish, he does like to bite the tweezers. And he also bites the snake hook when I have to get him out, so it's probably not a stretch to assume that he would bite a finger as well if I would be within the strike range. Thing is, the puff adders, they aren't aggressive in the wild in particular, but a lot of the captive individuals, or at least with him, they have such a strong feeding response that they just kind of bite everything just to try and find out if it's food. But he does know that this mouse is envenomated already, so he's not gonna bite it again, of course. He has no manners though, and he will bite the tweezers if there is some smell on it. There we go. I think the mouse is feeling the venom. It is acting rather slow, but I shouldn't be fooled by that. The puff adders, there are some very potent snakes in their own right. As I said in a few other videos already, by some estimations a fully grown puff adder has enough venom in its yield to kill up to 5 adult humans, so they really are no joke, but there we go. I think the venom has kicked in now for sure. He's just patiently waiting already. There you go, see the tongue flicks. I can't eat it already. So he's gonna keep his distance, of course. I recently saw a commenter who was kind of talking about how the snakes are surprisingly timid when it comes to the mice when they're envenomated and jumping around. And it is true, you can kind of see him like twitch around, not wanting to touch that mouse at all. And I do think that has to do with prey items in the wild being much more defensive potentially. The snakes, they are just like risk minimizers, They just, whatever they're doing, they try to minimize any kind of risk of even like the lightest scratch or anything. Just because in the wild, the consequences of that could be much more significant in captivity, where it doesn't really matter. But of course, the snake doesn't know that. It just acts according to its instincts. There we go. I think I'm gonna put the hide box back already, just so I don't forget it. There we go. Yeah, look, he's checking the trees as he still smells the mouse on it. Oh, come on. There we go. I see the mouse is about to be done. Very nice. It took a moment for that venom to fully kick in, but of course, no way a mouse is able to survive even the slightest drop of puff adder venom. There we go. So hope you enjoyed that one, and let's go on to the next snake. There we go. This is the Crotalus pifanorum, a species of neotropical rattlesnake, one of the most beautiful ones for sure. And just wait till the mouse looks away, he's gonna strike then. Look, that's the first time I think that he actually held on to the mouse, or it is the first time. Usually he just does what most rattlesnakes will do, they bite once and then release. But he has some pretty good bite placement on that small mouse, so I think it has to do with the prey item being rather small compared to him, so it doesn't really pose any danger to him when he has a good grip on it like that. There's no way it's gonna free itself, and he knows that for sure, I think. Yeah, I hope you can still hear me reasonably well while he is rattling. Seems like he doesn't really like to be filmed today, but he's still just gonna hold on to that, see? Very nice. See how beautiful this rattle is, just like the black-tail rattlesnakes, the Crotalus mollussus. They have all pitch black tail. You can't really see it now because it's under a part of its body, but whatever. So, and for the last venomous snake, there we go. For the last venomous snake feeding for today, I'm gonna feed my pair of copperheads, the Agkistrodon laticinctus. Oh, there we go. It's a third or second strike, I think. And this is the male individual right there. They aren't actually, oh, there we go. They aren't actually a real pair, as I don't plan on breeding them. They are brother and sister. And they are both quite small, so obviously if you have a lot of inbreeding over time, the captive born animals, they are gonna, for example, hatch out smaller than the usual wild counterparts. They only have like, I don't know, maybe 60 centimeters or so, maybe a bit longer actually, but they are quite small and slim for copperheads, so I don't really see any need in breeding them. So this is the female individual, and just like the male, she is a perfect eater, never skips a meal, at least for... That was a nice track from her. Again, as I just said, she never ever skips a meal, at least for the time that she's here with me. I mentioned it in an older video already, I think, but the keeper who had her and her brother before said they were very bad eaters and that they rarely, if ever, wanted to eat for him. I'm not too sure why. Maybe it has to do with the temperatures, but you know, I'm just keeping both of them at room temperature in my bedroom, you know, and I feed live mice and they are perfect eaters, you know, just from the beginning. I had them first few days already feeding them and they were already eating just perfectly, so I'm not too sure. Maybe the fact that they are so small also has to do with them just you know, not getting enough food while growing up, because they were with the other keeper before me, since they were, you know, just small neonates. So, you know, a neonate is a snake that just was born recently, just a few month old individual, you know. Because the thing is with the snakes, they can live without much food and even without any food for a very long time. In the wild, they sometimes don't eat anything for months on end, maybe even for half a year or something like that. They really can survive that without much problems at all. They are built for that actually, to you know, preserve the energy, but they are not going to be able to grow properly, of course. They are going to need to feed in order to put it into proper growth rate. Makes sense, of course, but maybe that also is the reason that they are a little bit smaller, not just because they are maybe from blood-related parents as well. But I don't know, actually. Again, they are doing just fine, doing actually very well for me, so I really can't complain. They are very beautiful species of copperhead. Once before, all the copperheads were considered one single species. Oh, there we go. Look at her yawning right there. See the nice little fangs? Very beautiful. But again, as I wanted to say, the copperheads, they were before just considered to be one species with several subspecies. I think there were 3 subspecies in total recognized before, which was the Contortonix, you know, the type species. Then there was the laticinctus, which is this one, and the Pizzeogaster, which looks a little bit in between, but they are hard to tell apart. The thing is, there was a taxonomic revision, meaning that they changed up all the scientific names and how they were considered to be related to one another. And subspecies Pizzeogaster was just removed entirely and no longer recognized. And the subspecies Laticinctus and Contortonix were elevated to species status. So they are now entirely different species within the Agkistrodon genus, even though they are, of course, more closely related to one another than, for example, to the cottonmouths, which are the Agkistrodon piscivorus, and they are, of course, within their genus, and interestingly underwent a very similar kind of taxonomic revision, but that's another topic, of course, and I talked about it in another video already, I think. But as you can see, I think that mouse is still holding up pretty well. It got bitten like a minute ago, but I think it's about to be done now. There we go. So hope you enjoyed that one as well. So got a bit of bonus footage. Look at him. Boom. This is the ivory ball python, of course. And as you can see, he's gonna do it the old-fashioned way and will constrict that prey item. He has no venom at all, of course. There we go. Very nicely done. I think I'm gonna give him a second one after this. He's a good eater as well. There we go. I even got some footage now from him swallowing that mouse. Of course, with a small prey item like this, it's gonna take no time at all for him. You know, the pythons, they do like to have a little bit larger prey items for the most part, I feel like, in compared to the vipers, which prefer again smaller prey items in comparison. But I'm just gonna give him another one right away, so I think he will be totally fine and well fed with that as well. I don't need to push it with the feeding, you know. I don't plan on breeding with him either. I'm just gonna raise him up normally, but as you can see, he's a very hungry little snake for sure. He never skips a meal either. From all the ball pythons, had I know and kept, he's by far one of the best eaters. Probably is the single best eater of all of them. There we go. I should have started recording a bit sooner, because as soon as I dropped the mouse in his cage, he already was on it. And see, another perfect strike from him. Perfect bite placement, I mean. And just like that, he's gonna kill that mouse in a few seconds. It's gonna be just as humane as the venomous snakes. Maybe even more so, actually. Look at that. And again, he's just such a good eater. He's gonna eat a day before shedding. And he's gonna eat, if I would let him, probably 5 of these mice in a row. But of course, that would be a little too much. There we go. And then he's gonna gulp that one down as well. I think that's gonna be the last bit for the video. I hope you enjoyed that one as well. If yes, feel free to support me by you know, liking the videos and subscribing to the channel and all that stuff. It was very fun doing this video as well, even though I got a little bit sick a week ago, and my voice still feels kind of shitty and probably sound a bit weird on the commentary, but I hope you don't mind. Let's see.